Okay, today we're going to talk about Meet the Hollowheads, 1989, uh, also known as Life on the Edge. I think that was the original title, Life on the Edge. I read a Fangoria article on this film, and in the Fangoria article it was titled Life on the Edge. I don't know who the hell came up with the title Meet the Hollowheads. Stupid thing. I think that's the title that was shoved on it when it went direct to video. And then it caused a lot of confusion in the market because not that long, literally maybe about 2 or 3 years after this film, there was that Meet the Applegates, which I think was also just called the Applegates, or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was originally titled Meet the Applegates and they just called it the Applegates. I don't know. I don't know. It's confusing. Meet the whatevers. Meet the Beatles. I don't know. Uh, Meet the Hollowheads, an interesting, a weird film. A film that could almost only come out of the late 80s. Uh, a film which is informed by Tim Burton as much as it's informed by like Rinse Dream, Night Flight. I guess if you're getting my references here, you're kind of understanding this is kind of like a outre, weird, edgy, retro type of mishmash of comedy and weirdness and special makeup effects and everything. Directed by Tom Burman of the famous Burman makeup family. Apparently, the only film he's directed up to this date. And it's kind of this about this family, the Hollowheads, the titular Hollowheads, who are like this nuclear 1950s family with a mom and a dad and kids. One of the kid, a young teenage daughter played by Juliette Lewis, a young Juliette Lewis. But they live in this weird underground layer that's like they get everything by this series of tubes. And the father figure works for the tube plant, and one day he brings home his boss, played by Richard Portnow, the famous Richard Portnow of a billion movies, and so there's all of this stuff. Anne Ramsey of Throw Mama from the Train plays as somebody who's angry. She plays an angry old woman, like usual, but she's like one of the people that are guarding the tubes. I don't remember. It's just that the film's kind of a blur after you watch it, you know. The father, played by John Glover, my God, he's cool. I always remember John Glover. He's done so many films, but I always remember him from that episode of L.A. Law, where he was like this guy who was suing someone for discrimination. And always remember this. I think it was with Corbin Burnson or Harry Hamlin. He had this really emotional scene in a cafeteria where he's like, well, I don't even remember what the hell it's about, but I just remember John Glover in that episode of L.A. Law, which I hope you do as well. Yeah, Meet the Hollowheads. I remember I got this movie on Laserdisc. I bought it for like $2 or $3 on Laserdisc how many eons ago. The soundtrack is weird and wacky and full of all kinds of weird and wacky sounds, and it really particularly, I think, was uh, billed and sold as a kind of very, very Tim Burton-esque. There are elements of this film that feel very much like Pee-wee, very much like Pee-wee's Playhouse and so forth. But there's a darkness to it and a weirdness to it that is more of kind of the weird stuff of, Rince Dream and Dr. Caligari and that type of stuff. Oh man, if you've never seen Dr. Caligari, man, the 1980s Dr. Caligari, I'm not talking about the silent film. Those are worth it's worth tracking down. It's some wild stuff. So what else can I really say about it? I mean, it's something you gotta experience. It's one of those things. It's this subterranean tube tube civilization, you know, uh, matched up with these this nuclear family thing. You know, it's been released on DVD a couple of times. I, but like these budget public domain releases, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why, what happened as far as the copyright or what happened, because there's a DVD I'm seeing here on the IMDb homepage that's like Juliette Lewis, and I don't know. I mean, it was released by Image Entertainment in the late 90s. I don't know. I just I feel like it has this is a film that doesn't really have many cheerleaders. It didn't really fit into any kind of specific mold other than being kind of in the Tim Burton, Pee-wee's Playhouse mold. But that's what kind of mold is that? That's an irregularly shaped weirdo mold, you know? That's not a conventional mold. And so it just kind of dived. And someday, hopefully, I mean, if Sonny Boy can be released on Blu-ray, Meet the Hollowheads absolutely can. Because Meet the Hollowheads is an order of magnitude more conventional than Sonny Boy. I mean, Meet the Hollowheads is basically this very kind of Cleaver-esque 50s nuclear family that just happens to live underground and serviced by tubes with all these weird and wacky aliens, not aliens, kind of weirdo pets. Strange stuff going on, strange stuff. So there it is. Meet the Hollowheads. I hope I have put it into your mind to check this movie out and seek it out because it's definitely it's worth seeking out.